We're going to go over the reasons why Jim Jordan failed in the second vote today. And the excuse we're getting from these sellout rhinos is that Jim Jordan is just too extreme, and this is the drum that the media has been beating against Jordan, the Freedom Caucus, and conservatives in general. Let's see, would you be considered an extremist if you were, let's say, supporting Hamas? Play it.
Tonight, there is growing backlash to a letter signed by nearly 36 student groups at Harvard, which solely blamed Israel for the deadly attacks by Hamas.
As the old civil rights adage goes, no justice, no peace.
The Israeli government is what has fueled this. It's Israel that is occupying the Palestinians, not the other way around.
And it's basically like living, Alex, in an open-air prison.
I think Hamas mainly attacked military establishments, military installations.
Do you condemn Hamas then? Tell me that.
I've already said that I condemn the violence that Hamas
Hamas as an organization, a terrorist organization, will you condemn them?
I don't see them as a terrorist organization.
Hamas is a political movement that was elected.
The justification of the violence is the occupation.
Palestinians are leading a freedom movement.
Hamas is a movement, and then you fight back for that and you stand for your rights. That does not make you a terrorist. That makes you a defender.
Now, coming up in the argument, I'll play elected Democrats in their own words, but I'll say this. If you think MAGA is worse than Hamas, you are part of the problem. My first guest is the host of Bill O'Reilly's No Spin News, author of the book Killing the Witches. Bill O'Reilly, welcome back to the program.
Thanks for having me, Andrew. How you doing?
All right, we'll talk about the book, of course, but, Bill, I've known you for years. This is an easy topic for you to tee off on. Should we be surprised that we are surrounded by people who literally support Hamas?
The only surprising thing is certain corporations that run media like Comcast, NBC, they should know better. I understand that the ADL and other organizations that defend Jewish interests had to go there or communicate with the top brass at Comcast, tell them to knock it off on MSNBC, which they did by removing 3 hosts over the weekend from their shifts. That's a little surprising that any American corporation would allow that kind of propaganda, but the progressive movement has made a lot of strides in the media, as you know. You cannot be a progressive unless you hate Israel. That is part of their 10 commandments. You got to hate Israel. Israel's a fascist state. It's persecuting Palestinians and others, and we hate them. You cannot be a progressive unless you buy into that. So that's what you're seeing. You know, people like Bernie Sanders and AOC and Tlaib and all of the others coming out and saying the most absurd stuff in the world because they're committed progressives. They buy into that whole thing.
Although Israel's kind of the San Francisco of the Middle East. Abortion is legal. They have strict gun laws. Taxes are high. The government pretty much controls everything. They have gay pride parades. Women have equal rights. None of this is to be found in Gaza or the surrounding nations. There might be a little bit more tolerance in Jordan, but you would think, based on that checklist, that the left in this country would love Israel.
No, because number one, Israel is a big self-reliance place, and the left is opposite that. They want the government to control everything. And number two, Israel is a capitalist society allied with the United States, and most of the leftists in the world don't like the United States. So, you know, the linkage is they don't really care what the Israeli government does about gays or anything like that. It's not in their mind. Their mind is that Jewish people exploit the Arabs. They always have, and they're evil, and we have to support the terror groups that want to annihilate them. I mean, it's insane, but that's the thinking.
All right, let's talk the book. The Killing series, every single one of them is a New York Times bestseller. It could be Killing the Mob. It could be Killing the Killers, Killing Jesus, Killing Lincoln. Now we have Killing the Witches. But this one, what I think, and you can tell me if I'm wrong about this, I think this one is very analogous to what we're seeing in cancel culture, in the way people are attacked, even if there's no evidence to support the attack, even if the opposite becomes true, the narrative lives on, that, you know, you can be deemed a witch by our media.
Oh, absolutely. That's why I wrote the book. So Killing the Witches is the 13th of the Killing series, the most successful nonfiction book series of all time on the planet. And I'm stunned, but that's the fact. So I can write about it whatever I want. But I chose Salem in 1692 because it's back. So the witch hunt is back in the form of cancel culture. So about 10 years ago, the progressives said, you know what? We got to get our opposition off the table. We got to destroy them. And a way to do it is unfounded allegations. Just throw whatever you can at them. Something will stick. And with social media popping this stuff up, what was shocking was that the mainstream media started to pick it up. And I have, at the end of Killing the Witches, cases where innocent people, totally innocent, have their whole lives destroyed based on an accusation. No due process, none of that. Now, it's important for Americans to realize what happened in the early years of this country. And what happened was fear. That's what led to 20 human beings being executed in Salem and hundreds put in jail on these insane charges by little girls, young girls. Oh, goody so-and-so came to me in the night, made me sign the devil's book. That kind of insane stuff reached the level of capital punishment. So everybody's heard about Salem witch trials, but they don't really know the true horror of it. And it was driven by people who wanted to use fear to control a population and make money. If you were a convicted witch, the ministers, the clerics, and the judges seized your property and your assets and divided it up among them. And they got very wealthy doing it.
We only have about a minute left. I don't want to give too much away, but one of the founding fathers witnessed this, and that's one of the reasons why we have innocent until proven guilty in the Constitution, correct?
That's right. Benjamin Franklin is the man. And we tell a story about how he confronted the top witch hunter, Cotton Mather, who lived in Boston. He was a preacher, and young Ben, a teenager, went to his home. And he never forgot it. And he brought his disgust about what happened in Salem into the Constitutional Convention. Franklin did. And that's why we don't have any religious intrusion in the Constitution, whereas Patrick Henry wanted in the Constitution the words, the United States will be a Christian nation. Franklin won that, along with Jefferson and Madison. So if you read Killing the Witches, and you have, Andrew, obviously, best Halloween book ever. It'll scare the pants off you, all right? With apologies to Edgar Allan Poe. But you will learn a tremendous amount about the witch hunt back then and the witch hunt now.